Hello, everyone. Mike and Corey here on a green Monday. Corey's got green on. I've got green on. Today's topic's going to talk about the markets hitting all-time highs. I'm going to talk about Southwest Airlines, which a lot of times we don't invest in airlines much, but Southwest has some news. And then when things are in the green, people are more optimistic. People are looking to buy. So Corey's going to talk about mergers and acquisitions and IPOs because that's when they tend to happen, is when things are in the green. So as we get started, this is a financial education presentation. You must do your own due diligence on anything you hear in this presentation. More disclaimer information can be found on ankerstarwealth.com, and the opinions expressed are mine and Corey's alone. So there's nothing like getting up on a nice Monday and seeing green numbers across the board. The S&P at up 0.6% and the NASDAQ 0.74%. And those are record all-time highs. You know, remember the days when I guess it was only a few months ago, it was the beginning of spring and the markets were off like 15%. Well, here we are. We're at all-time highs again. So that is good news. I'm just going to show the S&P year to date just because that's so much fun to look at. And you'll be able to see. Here is a year to date chart. So the year started off, kind of hit all-time highs in the middle of February, and then we had the tariff Mageddon, all the concerns on that. Have tariffs went away? No, they haven't, but I guess the market's concern about them has, because the markets are right up there. So, you know, it's just one of those things that when you look, and let's just look at an S&P like all-time graph, it zigzags its way, but eventually it gets higher and higher. So those concerns tend to be buying opportunities, although sometimes those buying opportunities take a few years to play out. But anyways. So one thing that we have not put in any of our models and don't have any plan to in the short term is airline stocks. I'm okay with airline, a Boeing, for example. But as far as the airlines, as much as we fly them, Southwest, American, Delta, United, they tend to compete. They have a low moat as far as you can fly any of them, and it ends up just being price sensitive. Southwest Airlines had differentiated itself quite a bit as they had, open seats and, of the airlines, at least for a while, they were the most loved, although, loved as in, I think that's their whatever airport they are, no, their ticker, LUV. However, what is Southwest doing? They're putting in seat assignments. So they're becoming like other airlines. Interesting. Why would you do that? Not quite sure. I'm sure there's some pricing involved. And then another thing, the reason why Southwest was so loved is they had two free checked bags, and they're getting rid of that as well, except for certain customers. So it's kind of like they're becoming like the other airlines. I don't know why Southwest is doing this. I don't pretend to understand it all. But let me pull up their stock. You can see this is their year-to-date chart. So it's actually up on the year, very similar to the S&P 500 actually. But let's take a look back. There's their 5-year chart. And this is probably why we don't invest in any airlines directly in our models, because Southwest is one of the most popular ones. And if you had invested 5 years ago, at least 4 years ago, you'd be down, I don't know, around 30 to 40%. So not a great strategy. So just thought it was interesting, since a lot of people fly when they listen to this. Corey, when you fly, what airline do you like to fly on, or what couple of them?
I usually just do the little trip builder thing and try to find something that seems like it'll get me there. I'm not partial to anything.
And that's why airline stocks don't do that well, because people like Corey, you're really just looking for the least expensive flight that gets you there.
Yeah, best little kind of layover option. What's the best option, and that's it.
There you go. So Okay, Corey, take us to mergers and acquisitions,
Yeah.
and we'll try to figure out which airline gets bought next.
Mike, I did want to hit this as I pull this up. You mentioned that S&P 500 chart hitting all-time highs. Some people get scared, which I mean, I understand you maybe people get scared of heights. I'm actually scared of heights, but scared of heights in the S&P 500, it doesn't apply because, well, just one reason. Mike, do you know we're on track this year to get to $1 trillion of S&P of buybacks in the S&P
Wow.
500?
Wow.
And that total market capitalization there is sitting right about 52 trillion. So if you throw on that 1 trillion in buybacks, you're getting about a 2% just buyback return before you even get any dividends or anything. So that's kind of one of those forces that pushes markets higher over time. We don't need to be scared of heights, even though I am in general. All right. Not really on flights though. You talk about flights, I can kind of feel like I got my feet on something, so I'm okay, I guess. All right. Some capital markets activity. Started off with an IPO. I just wanted to give a little update. Some things we're seeing out there. Figma, think some AI design software type company. I'm not going to get into everything they do here, but they filed for an IPO on July 1st. So that's one of these deals going on out there. Rumors swirling in the railroad space. Union Pacific showing lots of interest to buy Norfolk Southern or potentially even CSX. I think we're down to less than 10 prominent railroads in the country, and consolidation would even drive that lower from here. So very interesting. Again, you see these things during good times. When everybody's scared and hunkered down for a recession, people aren't taking big swings like this, So people filing IPOs, consolidating industries. This is bullish behavior here. Chevron completes a $53 billion acquisition of Hess. Consolidation there. We do typically see consolidation in the energy space. Somebody's always. I actually worked at Targa. That was my first job out of college. And they say that the companies come and go, but the assets stay the same. So, people have been owning the same minerals and land plots and all these things for decades, right? But the companies can change a lot, even though it's the same wells in some cases. So there goes Chevron buying Hess. And one more, smaller, which I did hit on in a recent YouTube video a little bit, but Kellogg was being bought by a company in Italy, Ferrero Rocher, and that was a $3 billion deal. So again, when you're seeing these deals pop up week after week after week, what does that mean? These C-suites, these executives at different companies, they're feeling good. They're feeling aggressive. They're wanting to make moves to grow, and they're not feeling scared. That's for sure.
And I will tell you, having been in the corporate world and been part of mergers and acquisitions, it's not as easy as just buying another company. There's a lot of systems that have to be merged. It's quite a bit of work. I've just been part of these, and when the company does this internally, they can only take so much change at the same time. So I imagine everybody they make their grab, and then they have to internalize digest that, and then it's on to the next one. So interesting.
Very interesting.
Well, thank you very much for listening. Have a good one. We'll talk to you tomorrow.